Hello everyone, Counterspell Hater here. Welcome to another EDH request. I was able to read my comments beforehand, so I was able to prepare the deck. This is Jodah, the Unifier, the new one from Dominaria United, and this is pretty much better than the old one. The old one was pretty uh busted, but this one is on another level. But before we get into this broken commander, just please like and subscribe. Oh, thank you for 70 subscribers. So thank you to people who have subscribed, and you can be one of those people right now by just clicking the subscribe button. Leave a like on this video and all my other videos. Leave feedback through the comments. And if you want to make an EDH request like this one, just let me know in the comments by being the first one to comment on this video. Oh, and if you want to, if you as you're commenting, just like comment the name of your commander. If you want like a specific style, like Rambo's Dragons, then just let me know. Yeah, we'll get down to it. And don't forget to turn on the notifications. Well, hit the notification bell, I mean. That way you don't miss another one of my videos. And yeah, that's it. Let's get into this broken EDH request starring Jodah the Unifier. So this is a Legendary Creatures Matters deck, or can be legendary spells entirely. So not legendary stuff in general. This is a very flexible commander with the 2 lines of text. I went the legendary route, specifically legendary dragons, because of the first card I'll show you. Myron, Sentinel Worm, who doubles up on your dragons, including your legendary ones. So that's the route we're going. Into the Dreamer, just to cheat out even more stuff. So cheat out more legendary creatures, buff up our army, because the first line of text, legendary creatures you control get +X+X, where X is the number of legendary creatures you control. So Into the Dreamer can help us cheat out even more legendary creatures to buff up our army further with Jodah the Unifier. Ojutai, Soul of Winter, just to tap down some stuff whenever dragon control attacks, and prevent that permanent from untapping on during its controller's next untap step. The Air Dragon, it's a dragon tribal commander, one of the most powerful ones there is. And it allows us to cheat stuff out into play. So definitely recommend in this type of deck, and in all dragon decks that feature all 5 colors, of course. Dragon Lord Dromoka just prevents our opponents from being able to cast spells during our turn, so we're able to do more on our turn without any interruptions. And it cannot, and this dragon cannot be countered, so cry about it, Blue. Skid Skytherix, the Blight Dragon. I think I pronounced that right. This is a great legendary creature to have in here because of how buffed up it can get from Jodah. Not to mention, Infect could just end someone's life on a dime. And this card can give itself haste. That's a recipe for someone to just go out of the game instantly. Blade of Winged Arisen, one of my favorite commander cards, and has actually returned in Dominaria United, the commander series. So we'll get to that later in this deck. where it's featured. But this one I've had for a while. In fact, I have my own deck built around it. If you want to see that, just say the word in the comments. But this is just to get us something back and to buff up all of our dragons with its activated ability. Last of this, Dragon Queen, to make even more dragons when our non-token dragons are in the battlefield, and to buff up our dragons as well. Cloth Unrivaled Ancient would definitely recommend in this deck because of how big your legendary creatures can get. And thank God this is a legendary creature, because this can give you a lot of mana for your post-combat main phase. So that will allow you to attack and rebuild if need be after, or expand after combat. Firecrag, Cunning Instigator, to goad creatures. So we can swing something away from, we can force our opponents to swing something away from us we don't want attacking us. And this is going to get bigger and bigger as our opponents start hitting each other, and it's going to draw us cards. Thrakus the Butcher. This could just secure a win out of nowhere because of its attack trigger. Not to mention, if we play Mirim and then we play this card, and we attack with both the copy and the original creature, each dragon we control on that turn during that combat is going to have its power quadrupled. And our opponents are going to be in a lot of trouble because, first of all, flying. Second of all, if we have trample, it could be over within that turn. Ebon Death Dracolich, Flash and Flying make for a deadly combo. They'll Dracolich here, and Dracolich enters the battlefield tapped, unfortunately, but still, Flash and Flying. You could play this on someone else's turn, then untap with it on your next turn. And it's a 5/2, and it's able to, it allows you to cast it from the graveyard as long as a creature not named Ebon Death Dracolich has died this turn. Tiamat is in here because it allows us to search for 5 different dragons in our deck. Quite possibly the most powerful ones. And most likely. And it puts them into our hand. I don't even know. Vengeful Cami. It can really scare away our opponents because of the combat damage trigger. Because if the player we dealt combat damage attacked us last turn, we get to exile target non-land permanent that player controls. And if no one wants that, they stay away from us. Teneb the Harvester, just to get stuff back or get something out of our opponent's graveyard for even more utility. Belladross Witherbloom, help us cast more of our legendary creatures in a turn, and trigger off Jodah's second ability, which is basically Cascade for legendary spells only. But Belladross Witherbloom can create tokens that help us gain life, and lets us use our life as a resource to untap all of our lands we control, but only once each turn. Still, that can make all the difference within a turn. Shadrick Silverquill to buff up our army because of the combat trigger. And force someone to start slowly losing life and drawing cards. Or can create ourselves a token, but why would we do that when we can buff up all of our stuff? Scion of the Ur Dragon can literally become mostly anything in this deck. and in most Dragon Tribal decks featuring all 5 colors. But if we have this out, we could go and get something like Miram, put it into our graveyard, then Sign of the Earth Dragon becomes a copy of Miram until end of turn. Then we just play Blade Wing from my hand, and we get Miram back. Drumoka the Eternal can buff up our dragons even more if we attack with them. Atarga World Render gives our dragons double strike when they attack. Ramos Dragon Engine, one of the best dragons there is because of what it does. I mean, you just have to remove 5 plus counters from Ramos, and suddenly you have 2 of each color of mana, like 10. So that's like 10 mana in total. And it's really easy to buff Ramos up. I believe I've already covered a deck over this, but who knows? Probably have, but would definitely recommend, especially in this deck, because it features all 5 colors. And I mean, 10 mana, you can do a lot with that, depending on what you're playing. Kalagan, the Storm's Fury, could just help us end a game because of the attack trigger. Whenever a dragon attacks, creatures you control get +1/+0 until end of turn. Think of how many attack triggers we could get combined with Miram, Sentinel Worm, and all the dragons we have in this deck. Yeah. Lausanne, Dragon's Legacy, can deal damage to certain targets. So as we're casting our dragon spells, we can deal non-combat damage and help secure the win, quite possibly. Corlessa Scale Singer helps us cast more dragons in a turn by allowing us to cast dragon spells from the top of our library and looking at the top card of our library at any time. So if we have no cards in our hand, we can just look at our library and hope there's a dragon there. Ganix, Astral Hunter, gives us more mana by when we play dragons by creating treasure tokens when a dragon or Ganix itself enters the battlefield. Tanazir Quandrix can double up on +1/+1 counters, so Ramos. And if we want, we can have the base power and when Tanazir here attacks, we can have the base power and toughness of other creatures we control become equal to Tanazir Quandrix's power and toughness until end of turn. If we're able to buff up Tanazir, who knows? But most likely not, because he starts out as a 4/4. Ranieri, Merchant of Marvels. We can cast dragon spells and artifact spells as though they had flash. So it gives us more flexibility. Rift, Liberated Primeval. Gives our dragons some form of protection with Ward 2. And will create us some 4/4 red dragon creature tokens. If a creature of planeswalker and opponent control was dealt excess damage this turn, meaning if you went overkill on like a 1/1, then you'll get a 4/4 out of it if you have Rift. Old Gnawbone for a lot more mana, like a lot more, thanks to all the treasures it may make us. Rivaz of the Claw can help us cast our dragon spells. Allows us to cast our dragon creature spell from our graveyard. However, we end up exiling those creatures when they die. If we were to cast them from our graveyard in this way. Then we have the new Blade Wing, Deathless Tyrant. So this is a hardcore counter to like mill decks. Like something that allows us to like rebuild fast after a board wipe. because of flying and haste. 7 mana still, but 6/6 in the air with flying and haste, which it didn't have before. It just had flying, and it was like a 4/4. But now this is so much better. Dragon Skeleton. So not a dragon zombie anymore. But when it deals combat damage to a player or planeswalker for each creature card in your graveyard, you create 2/2 black zombie knight creature token with menace. Don't think I need to say much else. And to go along with that, Adrix and Nev, twin casters, to double up on token creation. Safara, Sky's Blade to give our flyers some protection. Makes you indestructible. And then we've got Akroma, Angel of Wrath, because you figure flying, first strike, vigilance, trample, haste, and protection from red and from black on a legendary creature in this deck. Yeah, someone's in trouble. To say the least. Because red-black decks will not be able to block this at all. This has flying, so now it's even more difficult to block. Not to mention vigilance and trample doesn't help it any, and it has haste, and it's gonna be God knows how big by the time you play it, because this thing is like 8 mana. So definitely would recommend Akroma, Angel of Wrath for this deck. Ajai, Tyrant of Gaia Strait, just to help us ramp up and keep ourselves going by giving us more gas. Morphon, the Boundless. Obviously, we're going to choose dragons for this deck. And now they're going to be really, really cheap because they're going to cost white, blue, black, red, and green less. But it only affects their colors, their color cost. But still, that can help out a lot. Like the Air Dragon suddenly almost costs like nothing. Or Scion of the Air Dragon. Like that's suddenly only costs 2. Or Tiamat. Amarath the Lustrous gives us even more fuel by since whenever we play creatures. Sylvala, Heart of the Wilds, can give us a lot of mana. Zaya Tora the Incinerator. We can begin flinging our creatures at our opponent's face for more damage. And we end up creating 3 treasure tokens when we do. Victus Asmadi the Dire. Victus Asmadi the Dire. Can help us cheat stuff out into play. Arthas, Tyrant of Jund, gives all of our dragons haste. And if there's dragons that aren't on our side of the battlefield, when Karthus enters the battlefield, those dragons are suddenly ours. And then we untap all dragons. And they have haste. Jorah, Weatherlight Captain, draws some cards whenever we cast legendary spells. Tally, Primal Storm, cheat out more stuff. Animar, Soul of Elements, for cost reduction, since we're casting creature spells. This is going to get big fast. And our creature spells are going to get cheaper and cheaper as Animar here gets bigger and bigger, not to mention protection from white and from black. And those are the 2 main colors for removal most times. Throsta, Tempest, Roar can just close out a game or kill someone. Either way, very powerful because of trample and haste, and because it can be so cheap to cast, depending on how many spells you cast within the single turn. And as Hexproof as long as it's entered the battlefield this turn, which means you play this. It's God knows how big. It has trample and haste and hexproof. Most likely someone's dead. And then you've got Primeval's Glorious Rebirth to just get everything back. Parametro God of Harvest for even more ramp. Bane, Lord of Darkness, to get stuff back from our graveyard when something else on our board dies. Oh, but that is if target opponent doesn't have a straw card. Sorry, from our hand. I meant from our hand. If they don't have you draw a card, you put something out from your hand. Just read the card. Tristani Silesian's Voice for Life. Then we got 10 of each basic land, so 10 mountains, 10 islands, 10 forests, 10 swamps, and 10 plains. And with that, the end of this EDH request, starring Jodah the Unifier. Definitely was a fun one. I like this one. And I think I'll be doing Blade Wing the next episode, unless you guys make an EDH request, which I encourage you to. I also encourage you to subscribe, like the other 70 people that are subscribed to this channel. And leave a like on this video and on all my other videos. And don't forget to hit the notification bell. That way you don't miss another video. And even if you don't want to make an EDH request, leave feedback anyways in the comments. I like your feedback from you guys. Shows me you care. And I believe that's it. I will see you guys tomorrow. Goodbye.